Hi there. I'm
Hi.
Adwyn- I'm Adwynna Mackenzie, and I have the delight this morning of speaking with KK, Casey, and Jackie of Triad.
Good morning.
And I was asked to come in and kind of chat with you guys about how Triad started, because it didn't start as Triad.
Ew.
And I believe it started when the three of you, who had known each other in different capacities for a few years, and decided that you'd like to do an experiment to see how you work together.
I could even, I think Casey, you and I were doing some like working together.
Yeah.
We had started sort of hanging out in Zoom together. We'd started going to each other's houses. That's what it was. So last winter, we weren't getting enough done in our own businesses. So we decided, at least if we were in the same room, that would help.
Yeah.
And then it was either January, February, and there was a bunch of us here. And Jake, you were leaving early. You were going out my front door when I stopped you and said, we need to do something together. And you went, yeah. And I said, good night. So it had been percolating for a little while. And then the quarantine happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody else can pick it up from there.
Yeah, I was just going to. So when the quarantine happened, Karen and I got talking about the fact that basically both of us needed to shift what we were doing and how we were doing it. Karen had a whole bunch of live training set up. I had some similar things set up, working with clients one-on-one. And so we were like, okay, all of that's off the table. What do we want to do? And then we got playing with this idea, and Karen said, I mentioned to Jackie, we should do something together. Why don't we get the three of us together and talk about, what project we could do? And let's do a little test run, a little research project to see if this is something that we might want to do.
So they roped me in. They said, Jackie, the time is now. And it was the perfect timing for me too, because of the quarantine. And so we did. We started brainstorming on Zoom, and we decided to come up with, what was the first thing we decided was,
you are stuck at home.
Yeah,
that's right.
My little YouTube channel.
We're going to do a YouTube channel and with some guidance and some coaching and really help people through the quarantine. And it was amazing because as soon as we got the idea, things just fell into place and it all just went really quickly and went really, really well. And then the idea stopped.
Take me back a little bit before. What was happening in your own entrepreneurial world that made you say, hey, I'd rather work with someone else? Like, when did that light bulb go on for you? Because there is this myth around, being an entrepreneur and it's all this and all that. And at some point you all said, I think I'd rather be
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. It's all, we definitely are entrepreneurial minded. We definitely want to create, each of us individually want to create space and opportunities to work with our clients. And it's, I've been an entrepreneur and working basically on my own for 15 years. And it's lonely and it's a lot of work. And you're wearing all the hats. And there are times where it just feels like too much. And to get the momentum going on your own, it's really hard.
Because as soon as you take a breather, you lose the momentum. Like there's just nothing that keeps it going and you're forced to do everything. That was with me. And I think that because Casey, you and I were starting to work alongside each other, and it was providing so much more motivation and energy, and we could get help right away on what we were doing, and we could talk ideas out. but it took a little bit to get comfortable enough to sort of lift up my skirt and say, this is the ugliness that's going inside this 10-year-old business that from the outside looks like it's okay. But it's like, I was like a duck, you know, like, ah, do, 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 do. And it was like, it was exhausting, and I was kind of done with that. And I think I don't remember when it happened, but I very clearly remember the moment I said, I am never going to do anything alone ever again. I will always create with other people, or I'm not doing it. And it just felt true to the bone.
That is fantastic. And I completely understand. I've watched you as you've developed this company from those beginnings. And that's really what I wanted to capture. I mean, I'm a solo entrepreneur with a little bit of envy of watching how, you know, how so much more than what you expected came out of this, hey, why don't we find a project to work together on? So talk to me a little bit about how this morphed into Triad. And then I have a question that follows that. So I don't think they go together, but go ahead.
Well, as I said, you know, this project that we had there, it had some momentum, it was moving, it was working, and then it just stopped dead in its tracks. There was no energy lit in it. It became hard for all three of us to even do the little pieces. And who was it, you, Casey? It was one of you two that finally said, okay, time out.
Yeah, or this has got to stop.
This
What do
is
we
getting
actually want
hard.
to do?
Yeah.
Because this is the thing. What we realized when we took the pause, and this is so interesting for businesses when you actually pause and look at what's going on, we realized the project we had started was way too small. It actually sort of ran out of steam because it was so small. There wasn't enough for the three of us to really dig into. And so we looked at, okay, well, what do we want to do? And that's where we started to look at, you know, Karen said, well, I've got this program that I was going to deliver. I can't do it live. What if we did it online? And then we're like, okay, well, let's see. So we ran a focus group, and we were like, hey, people that we know and love, come and find out what we're doing. And we just pitched this as an idea, this concept. And before the end of the call, we were sold out on the course, which we hadn't created yet. So, so that's kind of how we started. And we started developing this, you know, this content that Karen had brought into the group, and then adding to it, building it out, and really developing this course, which is kind of how we started.
Yeah. Now I will say, the reason that we chose a project instead of a business at the beginning is, I think this is an important piece. We had decided that our friendship was more important than anything else.
Yes.
Like it was in the center, it was the treasured thing. And so the project was about, can we work together without, you know, and not only keep our friendship, but continue to build it. So I think the reason that the energy went out of the project is because we found out we could. We actually met our goal. And so once we had that, it was like, no, you're right. I like the words that you used, Casey. We wanted something we could actually sink our teeth into. We wanted something that we could create together and make bigger. And we had no idea what was coming.
I like that part around that we had no idea what was coming. And over time, and this is not a long time, when would you say that you decided that Triad was Triad?
Well, we started the when we shifted to this sort of larger project was April. And then we, I think, decided that this was real in July.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we went from working on a project to actually running a business together in July.
Okay. So in a very short period of time, you took an initial idea and allowed that to start to work through you. And I think that's the piece that I'm most fascinated with, is that Triad kind of, How would you describe it? Created itself?
Well, each of us, we have discovered over this, like, as you said, Adwynna, it's a very short period of time, really, that we've been doing this. And we've discovered that each of us has a very specific role in this company. And I know my role, or we've discovered that my role, you guys, what do you call me? The tuning fork or the antenna? I have a tendency to sort of pick up the information and drop the ideas in the pot, and then Karen and Karen sort of and I walk away, and then they can run with it.
Yeah.
And I realized early on, because I could hear it, I could feel it, I could sense it, that we were being guided.
Right.
That this wasn't coming from us, and it was more of a, hey, you know, we're going to slap you over the head and you better listen to us and do as we say, and we'll make things easy for you. And so when we really started to tap into that guidance, that's when everything started to fly quickly and became easy.
Yep.
Yeah, I love your analogy, Karen, with the pyramid. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's like Triad already exists as a pyramid. It's like it's in the sand and it emerges a little bit at a time. We go, oh, look, there's more. And oh, look, that's why we did that. And so we have no idea how big it is. But every time we get to see another section that comes up, it just comes up, and we can already see what we have to do. Like, we can already see what's happening with it. And so lots of questions, like at the beginning, like Triad really feels like it's emerging as a fully formed company. And if anybody had come to me and said, okay, so I'm starting this business and it has 4 divisions and we're going to bring in other people and this is going to happen and that's going to happen, I would have said, whoa, time out. Like, just do one thing at a time and do it really, really well. Right? Like, I would not have advised them to do what we did. But once we realized that, you know, we could see it and we could feel it, and everything that came up that seemed like, how are we going to fit that in? It just effortlessly fit in. It was just logically the right next thing to do. So we are creating something none of us have ever created before, even with our entrepreneurial experience. This is not a micro business. It's not a solopreneur undertaking. It's something quite different.
And I love how you said it's creating itself. And the dynamic of having the 3 of you, I am guessing that when you have that what the heck moment of what else is showing up, because you're together in this, you're less likely to fall into those patterns of, oh, I should just choose one thing and do it well, or this feels like too much, maybe we'll add it in later. The things that we might do when we are doing everything ourselves in a business.
Well, it happens, but we catch each other.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this is it. And it just, even on Friday, there's some stuff happening and people are asking for things that we know we're building and they're wanting it now. And Karen said, well, I guess it's here, whether we're ready for it or not. Right? Like, it's time to do the things that will help that piece come to fruition, because and this is what I'm finding is it's showing up in the business actions that we're doing, and it's showing up in the people who are asking. And our job is to form the space and the foundations to allow those 2 pieces to come together.
Some of the coolest things, to your point, Casey, the people that are showing up are willing to do it organically with us.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we have one large program that I need to deliver live in order to figure out how to deliver it through hybrid or through e-learning. And so I put it out there. I'm running it organically. I don't know how long it's going to take. It's going to go until I get done teaching. And everybody's like, okay. Like, the first person that's considering coming in and actually becoming one of our Triad Group of companies, which is how we've designed ourselves to be. I said to them, we don't even know how to set up the shareholder agreements around that. And they're like, okay. Like, the perfect people are being drawn to us that are willing to play with us, that are willing to play in the creation space with us.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine that happening anywhere else.
I love that. You actually answered my next question. It's the because what you've created has a feel to it, you know, that it is bigger and has more impact and reach than any one of you or us can see at this time. But there's this sense of, I want to be part of that.
Yeah.
And there's also this sense of, I also know that I get to create within this. I'm not walking into someone's set program. I have an ability to bring whatever my gifts and talents are into this.
Yeah.
And as you said, there's you know, one aspect of the company that allows some partial ownership and so on. So there's always this beautiful energetic exchange in everything that you've created. And I love how this has such a playful element to it. And I think that the heaviness of running your own business or starting your own business, because I know you'll work with people who are kind of just getting started, and how amazing that they get to walk into this energetic, but also there's so much foundational pieces around this. It isn't just, oh, come here and feel good. Like, we're talking about, you know, all of the processes and what you need to do in order to land, establish, run, and be supported in your entrepreneurial life. Right. So I love that. I love that aspect. And it's, sorry, I wanted to come back to that little thread. That
Pause for a second, because Casey needs to talk about Make It Go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm like,
Okay.
oh, I want to say.
I can hear something.
Yeah, it's me.
No, it's
It's me. So one of the things that we've, because I'm totally with you, Adwynna, is one of the challenges of being a solopreneur is having all of the pieces, and it feels like you never get enough foundation to be able to build. And one of the things that we've really focused on here is creating really amazing operations division, which we call it the Make It Go division, because you got to make it go. So our Make It Go division, we spent, Karen and I spent about 6 weeks in the early winter focusing specifically on building out those foundational elements so that we had this really solid structure to build the next elements on. We knew January was coming with new and growth and opportunity. And we're like, we need to make sure that we have that foundational piece. And that's one of the things that we really want to be able to deliver and offer to the people who are getting involved with Triad, because basically most entrepreneurs don't have it. They don't have the foundations. They don't know how to create them. And it's when they're in their brilliance, unless their brilliance is that, then it's so hard to create that. And so having those foundational elements available to people is it's the magic that can allow them to really launch their own brilliance.
And we have the foundation that a large corporation would have.
Yes.
Like, we didn't, like, it not all of it's fully formed yet because we didn't need it, but all the foundation is there. And then we know which elements it will, as we iterate, so will that.
Yes.
But everything from like file naming conventions, risk management, strategy planning, we have executive status reports that every division fills out every month. Like, we have the elements in place that a large organization needs to communicate, make decisions, and move forward. And that is essential for us to be able to hold what might seem like is going to be the weight of a large organization, but I think it's going to feel weightless because the foundation is so balanced.
Nice.
Yay, Casey. Woohoo.
And I love the invitation for people to come into something that doesn't have the heavy, you know, the heaviness of that. And throughout your branding and how you talk, there's some really fun things, some fun elements that I know that you use with each other. And one of them that I think is a great place to maybe wrap up around is the piece of cake.
It is true. The piece of cake policy is brilliant.
Can I take this one?
I'm like, you got to tell it.
Okay, so the other thing that just keeps rolling my head is one of the things that we did at the very beginning is we basically compiled a list of what are all the things that we have done really well at as entrepreneurs, what are the things that we failed at as entrepreneurs, what are the things we love doing, what are the things that we don't like doing so much. And we decided early on how we were going to be as a company. We decided that fun was going to be at the top of our priority list. So unless it's fun, we're not doing it. So we made a lot of decisions as a partnership on how we were going to proceed and decisions we were going to make. So it's made things like that much easier. So when it came to the piece of cake policy, we realized, because everybody needs policies and procedures, we realized that we were trying to do things that weren't easy for us. We were delegating our workload, and it became hard, and then we would sit and struggle in it. I think it was UKC that first put your hand up and said, okay, I know I'm supposed to do this and I can't do it, it's hard. And KK picked it up and was able to just take it in a few minutes, clean it up and take it to the next step. And it was in that we realized really that we each have all of these things that we love doing that are easy, that are fun.
And they're different.
And they're all different between the three of us. So what we decided is if it's a piece of cake, that's your job. If it's not a piece of cake for you, then it's a piece of cake for one of the other two. And so now we only do what's easy for us, what's fun, what we love to do. And then, well, you guys can take it from here.
Well, and then we knew that there was this space, this gap that there's always going to be things that none of the three of us are good at. Yep. And one of those for us is marketing. It's just not something that any of us have either the knowledge base or the experience or the desire to really dig into. And so we early on decided we needed to find a marketing team. And we decided to do it in a way that would be fun because, you know, that's our go-to. And so we ended up finding the most amazing company called Alchemy Creations, and they're in England, and they have been brilliant.
Yeah. One of the really cool things that how we know that they were right for us, and even how we know that we've divvied the work up properly, is because both of us feel like we've gotten away with something. Right? I keep thinking of that old IKEA commercial, right? Like, start the car! It's like, I just got this agreement and I feel like I got away with everything because I got to do the things that I love to do and I don't have to do that other stuff. And it was hard to get used to in the beginning, to actually just looking for the things as an entrepreneur that I like to do and not have to do any of the rest of it. Like I felt a little bit like I wasn't pulling my weight. Right? We all felt like we weren't trying hard enough or not putting enough energy into the business, but that's when it really started to click and flow, when we were only doing the things we enjoyed. And just imagine how much less stress and energy that takes to come to work every day when you're only doing things that you're really good at, when you are in your brilliance almost all of every day.
And it ripples out through the whole company.
I love it. Does Triad have a giant vision, or is it just always emerging?
Yes.
I was going to say, or both.
That was going to be my answer. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Wonderful. I'm excited for the three of you. I'm excited for what you are modeling that other people can come into, and that you have a way to teach this to other people who want to be part of it. And it's just fantastic. So congratulations on your official launch. And I can't wait to see what comes out of the sand next.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jenna.
Thanks, guys.